fireside chat between two industry experts. Let me tell you, it's on the power of impact content. So we are taking a few points in this. That is the power of collaborating branding and the strategic messaging in entertainment, navigating new frontiers, innovative brand collaborations through digital media. So if I'll talk a few points on impact content, I think it's like a catalyst for change. It possesses the remarkable ability to raise awareness, incite empathy, and inspire action as well. So through carefully crafted messages, visuals, and stories, impact content can shed light on the pressing issues, mobilize communities, also ignite social and environmental change as well. So to talk on this, to discuss on this elaborative way, we have our two industry experts with us. Firstly, I would like to invite Ms. Aditi Srivastava, who is the co-founder and CEO Pocket Aces, with a round of applause. Thank you so much, lady, because you look gorgeous in a sari, and I always say Indian Nari looks beautiful in a sari. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion. I would like to invite Mr. Amit Patel as well, Director and Senior Marketing Head, Consumer Marketing, Cipla. Please welcome, sir. So both of the industry experts are going to have a conversation around the power of impact content.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for
Very
that
good
kind
morning.
introduction. It's really wonderful to see a full house in the morning. That doesn't usually happen, so very happy to be here. And very happy to be here with Amit, who is one of our newest partners at, working with a big brand at Pocket Aces, and one of the most dynamic marketing leaders that I've met.
Thank you so much. It's lovely indeed to see so many people out here this morning. And thank you so much for introducing me, Aditi. Great to have a chat with you today.
Amazing, amazing. So we don't have too much time, Amit, so we'll get right into it. This word impact, these two words, impact and content, they're very, very dear to me because they kind of bring together the last, say, 12 years of my career, working in the impact space and now working in content. For you, it's been a really incredible marketing journey. FMCG to something like pharma. Yeah. So I think today would love to talk to you about how you also made that journey in your career and what are the big differences that you see in marketing something like an FMCG and marketing something which is very highly regulated like pharma?
True, I think a very good question there, Aditi. In fact, I have been in the industry since last 15 years. And one thing that has remained constant is my focus on creating robust content pieces. I believe as human beings, our prime objective to exist is story. Storytelling is one of the most focus areas. And I think in last 15 years, I have got various chances across various brands, across various countries to explore this art, right? So I was, prior to working in the current organization, I was associated with Dabur and specifically with Dabur International team, not Dabur India, I would say. And there are many instances that I faced that if we are making a content for US market versus making a content for, say, a Middle East market or versus making a content piece for Southeastern market, I believe that humans are same everywhere. It's the cultural nuances that change. Consumer remains same everywhere. And if the content is timeless, it's geography-less, I think it stays for years to come. We have seen examples of it right from Lay's to, L'Oreal's of the world, P&G's of the world. This have set certain, I would say, boundaries around a content piece, and it is working out for them. But I believe as marketeers and specifically moving into newer industries, and when I talk about my current industries, I have to give a disclaimer that the views are my own because it's a highly regulated industry. This doesn't represent the views of my organization. But in a pharmaceutical company, the storytelling element kind of takes a backseat. And it's really important to reinvent that, to ensure that you are bringing patient stories, you are bringing doctor stories out there, that what kind of change a particular therapy area or change a particular approach has in the life of patients. So it's very critical to keep on reinventing yourself, and that is what we have been doing through and through. Specifically in case of Pocket Aces, I would say, as a pharma company, we run one of the largest consumer marketing campaigns in the country, and this has been going on since last 5 years. The campaign essentially aims around creating awareness about the right treatments for asthma, and which is a deep-rooted problem in the country. Now, there are two ways to go about it. We can do traditional doctor-level marketing, which almost every other pharma company does. Or can we break the mold? Can we go beyond that? Can we go beyond the pill? And that's where we are innovating too. That's where we are partnering with storytellers like you.
I think in the previous panel, we heard about the importance of consistency and depth
Yeah.
in marketing and about trusting your partner to distribute that word for you, right? I think that is something that, you have trusted us with. So I really thank you for that. We have our first video with Cipla has just released on Filter Copy, and we have a long way to go. But even before working with Filter Copy, you have done anthems, you have done songs, you have associated with influencers. So walk us through how, as you say, in a pharma industry, legal and medical teams are sitting at the main table and marketing is behind them. How you have convinced your teams, your HQ to take this plunge, and how have you shown them the ROI it will deliver?
Yeah. It's a very good question, I would say. What we have been doing so far is, and we don't call it marketing campaigns. I think the right way to put it would be public awareness initiatives, because we are here talking about lives and how we impact lives of people, right? So this public awareness initiative essentially does not talk about any product. So to distinguish between FMCG marketing and pharma marketing, I would say pharma is more purpose-driven, FMCG is more profit-driven. Right? So purpose-driven marketing is something that we started, and we realized very early on that it is not the patient who is affected. Like specifically in our country, everyone becomes a doctor as soon as you become sick. And the actual doctor takes a backseat. Right? So it is very important to convince everyone in the room, not just the patient, on what is the right treatment, what is the right therapy area around that. So, and specifically when there is a disease as common as asthma, which is apparently one of the leading causes of death in India, unfortunately. So how do you go about convincing people? So we created a campaign which essentially tells asthmatics that you can live an unstoppable life even with asthma. What are the right ways to deal with asthma? We run one of the largest patient support programs in Asia. I would say every year we reach almost 38 lakh patients, one-on-one. That's the one of the services that we provide to people. On top of that, we have been working with a lot of Bollywood celebrities in last 5 years, right from Priyanka Chopra's to Ayushmann Khurrana's, Sonali Bendra's of the world, wherein they help spread the message. We would encourage a lot of other celebrities who are out there who want to ensure that the message goes out to people, please step forward, because there is still some sort of a stigma connected to it. And the campaign that we embark, it's a very strange kind of a challenge, I would say, and to describe the challenge in one sentence, the fear of stigma is more than fear of disease. And that is a very tricky solution. That is a very tricky problem to have. The only way to bulldoze that or make sure people are going for the right treatment is to go for large-scale consumer marketing campaigns, as we do right now. Right? And there are a lot of various elements that we have explored over the years. So we have, as in how media consumption habits have changed, we also reinvented ourselves. We went from TV to radio. Right now, the campaign stays on digital channels. We have been constantly innovating with our storytelling approach. So earlier, the focus was on push. We're doing a lot of ads, but then we realized as consumers ourselves, how many times am I clicking on an ad? Or are ads getting as effective as they used to be? I believe the golden age of advertising is not here anymore. So it's very important to take and partake into the journey where the consumer is going. So internally we have a map, which is something we called as micro moments, that cumulatively decide how the consumer journey is going to end. And that's how contextually relevant steps, or that's how contextually relevant we want to be in our messaging. And that's why storytelling is really important for us. Alternate content formats become all the more relevant to us. We have been tying up, we're doing a lot of initiative when it comes to music. And we have a very beautiful song written by Amit Trivedi and Amitabh Bhattacharya, and showing what is the real treatment for asthma in the country. And believe me, all these things coming from a pharma company, if I show you that 7-minute video, we'll be surprised at a pharma company taking the effort or taking the courage to go beyond the pill. And that's where we are heading in general. Yeah.
No, and I think one very unique thing that I have seen as part of your team is that you guys are also monitoring that engagement really closely. What
Correct.
is the audience saying on the content and on anything we put out, and what can we take to put in the next video, right? So I think that's been beautiful, and the engagement we've got
Yeah.
with people talking about even things like pronunciation of asthma, verse and asthma versus like even things like the stigma and thank you for showing us the correct usage and that kind of stuff. It's been pretty amazing.
True, true. Definitely, Aditi. And as I said that being in a purpose-driven organization or purpose-driven environment, our metrics are generally different. It's not the similar kind of metrics that you follow in a profit-led organization, I would say, because the awareness is largely done on therapy areas. We do have a Nielsen brand track, so over the years we measure how the needle has moved in demolishing the myths, in demolishing the stigmas associated with that. This asthma perhaps doesn't, very height nahi badegi asthma se, right? I might get addicted to inhalers, etc. So all these metrics over the years, because our communication and we try to break the myths, how has the needle moved? Are less and less number of people now believing that inhalers are addictive? Yes. And we have got sharp decline. In last 5 years, I would say the metrics that we measure with Nielsen data has gone down almost 30 to 40 points. And that's huge.
So what advice do you have for brand marketers in general when it comes to highly regulated industries, like for example, mutual funds, right? Their approach has also changed quite a bit across the years. We've done a lot of content with them a few years ago, and now they're specifically saying, oh, we can't have celebrities in the content, we can't do X, Y, Z things. So what is your advice for how to innovate for, regulated industries?
Yeah. So as you rightly mentioned, in a regulated industry, marketing is no longer the star of the room. We somehow sit in the corners, and compliance, legal, all these departments become the force to deal with. Every time there is a new communication, you'll have to take 10,000 approvals, even if it is as simple as putting out a social media post. In industries like mutual fund, I would say we kind of understand the pain that they have, because the adoption of mutual fund is similar to adoption of inhalers in the country. Though I cannot be comparing two of them together, but generally that's how both of them move together, right? And in this industries, it is very important, first of all, to understand what is your position in the industry. For example, if you are doing consumer level marketing in a regulated industry, and if you are not brand leader, or if you're not category leaders, then I would say you need to have an alternate approach. You can only take these steps if you have the courage, might, and capacity to execute campaigns like this, and if the onus is on you to make sure that the category grows. If you are a challenger brand in this situation, I would very much recommend to go with direct marketing route. Sit directly with the stakeholders and convince them, instead of, the advantage will, if you invest a lot of money in creating large-scale campaigns, the benefit will go to the leader brand. It won't go to the challenger brand. So unless you are a leader in the category, it is strongly advisable to go take direct marketing approach, sit with the stakeholders, have one-on-one programs, have one-on-one sessions with them. If you are a market leader, then definitely feel free to shape the market. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. Let me tell you that. Market shaping, changing the psychology of consumers is not easy as it looks. And I think that is a true litmus test for any marketeer to take that up.
That's some really good advice. Last question from my end. What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to marketing?
Actually, I would like to ask the same question to you first.
That was not the format of this session. Okay, my biggest pet peeve, I think, has to be when people expect, when people don't respect the intelligence of the audience. I think that is my biggest pet peeve. Today's audience is extremely discerning. They understand subtlety. They understand, we do content, so we know they understand everything from humor, drama, sarcasm, everything. So I think the beauty of storytelling is that you should be able to show regular use cases in the lives of consumers and how your brand beautifully fits in that life. So when people say नहीं नहीं ये तो उनको समझ में नहीं आएगा, ये बहुत subtle है, on the nose होना चाहिए, logo बढ़ा दो, you know that kind of stuff. Nobody says logo बढ़ा दो anymore, but this is the new logo बढ़ा दो.
Yeah, true that. In fact, I remember one quote. I was seeing an interview of Farhan Akhtar when he released this movie called Laksh, right? And the question asked to him was, what is the one thing you want to change about the film? And his answer was one word: audience. I think that was very beautifully said because people thought it was a war movie, and it's truly not a war movie. So my personal pet peeve, I would say, is deceptive advertising that a lot of marketeers, I have generally seen desperate marketeers getting into that, using claims which your product will not be able to deliver. This is not just deception at your level, you are not true to yourself, but to the markets at large.
Everybody's number one.
Yeah, everyone is number one. And there are a lot of instances, not just with number one, I would say the quality of the product, what the product delivers, and you are talking something opposite to that. So if you are doing such practices, I think a lot of marketers tend to go into that. I would say, not to name any industry here, but I can see, a lot of these companies into weight loss, into this diabetes, new alternate forms of medicine coming into diabetes space. All these kind of industries, they are claiming it in the wrong way. And I think that is something that really irritates me. Give the right information to people, don't deceive them.
No, and I think that ties in, right? Because today's consumer is really smart. They read the back of the box, they read the footnotes. And today, you are giving them a medium with digital where they can interact. So if you are inauthentic in your marketing efforts, you'll see it in the comments. And फिर the biggest telltale is जब comments have been removed. Basically, जब कोई comment ही नहीं है video पे. That's the biggest telltale, right, of negative engagement. So thank you so much, Amit. It was a short session, so we don't have time for questions, but both of us will be here. Happy to chat offline. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you so much for being a kind audience.
Thank you so much, both of you. And it was one such intriguing session. I hope you've got your points, what all you wanted from the session. Yes? Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Now, may I request Mr. Mishal Vanwari to come on stage for the felicitation process. We have a beautiful hamper from our gifting partner, Happilo. May I request you all to please give them a humongous round of applause because they've just talked really, really interesting points around the subject. And of course, pehle aap mein to train chhut jayegi. So I'll say, starting with, yes. Okay. Aditi and our second industry expert. Thank you so much, both of you. Now the photo op sessions with all the smiles on your faces.